What's going on, everybody? Well, I decided to go ahead and take a hike. Literally. No pun intended. If you're wondering what this is, I'm in bear country. So take a guess. I'll show you in a little bit. But in the meantime, we're going to take a quick walk up here. I don't know how well you can see. There's a couple of buildings in the background right there. But we're going to go up and show you what they are and kind of do a little bit of an explanation on what this place is. Like I said, we are out in the middle of nowhere. So, comment on what you like, alright? I'll see you guys in a second when I get a little bit closer to some of this stuff. Well, it's like I said, miners had amenities. This right here happened to be the couch that they had in that cabin. That right up there was their outhouse. It tipped over and actually fell down the mountain about 10 feet. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at some of the things up here. And then after that, I'll show you what's left of the old A-frame mine shaft. And then there's another one just up the way that had an old truck that was a pulley system and everything that I'm going to go ahead and show you too, all right? So, imagine what these guys went through to get all the way up here. I'm pretty much halfway up a mountain right now, just getting up here to get to this old cabin. There's the old outhouse. It used to actually sit right there. And then right over here is what's left of the old cabin. So let's go take a look on the inside. I'm going to switch you over to the helmet view. That way you don't have to sit here and look at me. And I can just explain everything as I walk around, all right? So I'll see you guys in a second. Well, as you can see, there's the old cabin, and I'm gonna go walk up to it right now. And yes, I am in bear country, so I brought my buddy Henry with me. That way I didn't have to worry about it. So, you can see all this debris. Here's one of the old small tables, the old chimney system. The miners that were up here literally trashed the place when they left so that it wasn't habitable. The only thing that was standing was the cabin. And honestly, it's crippled a little bit more than it was the last time I was up here. It's been a couple of years. But if you really had to take shelter in it, you still can. It does stay dry on the inside. You can see all the old beds. And then right up over there was the mine shaft. This cabin held probably anywhere from 6 to 10 men in it. And man, was it a trek to get up here. So, let's go ahead and take a look inside. See what's left of it. They did have a door on this, as you can see. There's not much to it. It still has some of the cabinets in it. It still has the original metal medicine cabinet. You can see the hole in the roof right there from where the chimney went up and the wood stove used to be. They did have glass windows and they did have power in this cabin, which is kind of awesome. I honestly don't know if they were running old knob and tube 110 or if they were running DC, considering the only things they were able to get up here were vehicles. The trail's not very friendly. As you can see, the table's still intact, and the only reason the table's still intact, well, like I said, it's still waterproof. The roof doesn't have any holes in it, so this one doesn't leak. But a lot of people have been up here. You can see some of the old wiring right here. Looks like they actually had 110 volts with the look at that receptacle right there. Lights all the way through the place. They had it nice and cozy. Like real nice and cozy. As a matter of fact, there's the old gun rack. And you know how I know? That's how I know. That's the old gun rack, just like that. So, I'm going to go ahead and take another walk around the outside of this thing and kind of show you what it looks like now that I've shown you the inside and showed you what's left of it. So, I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Leave a like on it, and I'll be right back. Now, the miners would go ahead and bring anything they possibly could up. You can see how that's all mortared in on the cabin walls. That was for the sake of keeping the weather out. If you notice the log, you notice how it's notched with axes. They literally chopped all this stuff right here so that they had their notches. And then right here, they had a chicken coop. I'm willing to guess they probably had about 2, maybe 3 chickens in there. That way they had enough eggs and all the rest of the stuff, they didn't have to worry about it. We're gonna walk around to the back now and I'm gonna show you the roof. They even had rain gutters on this thing, that way it didn't erode out from the sides of the cabin and collapse the cabin on them. This tree right here was actually the one that fell and did the damage that you see to the roof right now. But as you can see, they literally brought metal up here for the roof. Like I said, this one is in fact on a mountain. You can see sky all the way around me. You can see the terrain around me does not look that friendly. And then there's the old shaft right over there with a little bit of debris left over. So we're going to walk through a little bit of the debris here in a second. But I figured I'd show you the roof. This tree has been down for a couple of years now. It was down the first time I came out here. And honestly, there's a lot of stuff in the ground. Like angle iron, that was an old piece of bed frame. There's a newer barbecue grate that somebody came up. Some people come up here camping every once in a while. There's a cooktop that they brought up. Literally, somebody had brought all this mason up, poured it, and actually had a cooktop right here. This is one of the original doors from the cabin. It's still intact, and that's quality barn wood right there. That's ultimate reclaim. Now don't come up here and try and take that. Leave it here. It's for historical purposes. More metal here and there. And as you can see, a lot of debris. So now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the mine shaft. That's actually another old couch. That was a recliner. But this one had a head frame on it. Kind of like what you expect to see from old vertical shaft mines. This right here was their control box that they had up. They also put their signs on the back side of it. And then you can see here's the hole. And it goes down. Now what they did is they collapsed this. So most of the head frame material has been dropped into the hole. There's the remnants of what's left for the timber work of it. And some of the cabling and wire structure and stuff that they had to wire it off. But as you can see, I'm going to take one crazy little step right there on that boulder. And as you can see, it goes straight down. And I mean straight down, a long way. They collapsed this a couple of times and then threw the rest of the lumber and stuff into the hole. I don't know how long they mined out here, and I don't know what they got, but as you can see from all this on the ground, it looks like they had a somewhat decent success rate. Probably not a whole lot. These hills are riddled with all kinds of nasty stuff. Most of it contaminates the water, in case you haven't seen my other video. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at some other things. I'm going to walk around a little bit, and then after that I'll show you the other site on the way out. So I figured I'd grab some sample rocks. This is kind of what the miners were looking for. So they go ahead and crush it and extract the gold. You see all the little glitters in here, and you see how that quartz has that yellow tint to it? Yeah, that's exactly what you think it is. So it wasn't easy to get it out of this kind of stuff. Most of the time you had to send it to a crusher. And in an area like this, where they were at, you can see the cabins in the background, the shaft's right here. Smelting wasn't exactly an easy deal. And then getting it out wasn't an easy deal either, because you got to go probably a couple thousand feet down the mountain just to get out of here. So I'm going to go ahead and leave these here because there's no reason for me to take them. I don't recommend anybody take stuff like that. It's kind of really cool to look at. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and work my way out of here, and I'll show you the next area that they were digging in. It actually looks like they were digging right there. So I'm going to walk up there real quick And if I see anything cool, I'll kick the GoPro back on. But if not, I'll see you at the next location, which is a little bit farther down the trail. This was one of their other test holes. My honest opinion, they dug a couple of test holes after they were done mining in that one shaft, just to make sure they didn't hit anything anywhere else. You can see they dug a lot out of that one, threw it uphill. Yeah, so that's usually what they would do, is they would dig a lot of test holes in different areas just to double check before they leave the location. Yep, looks like they were really trying to find gold up here because they had found so much in that shaft. You can see another one right up there. And then there was a little itty bitty tailing pile that I climbed up over there. As you can see, you could barely see the cabin roof off into the distance. So now that I checked this out, my wife and I are going to go ahead and head down trail. That way we can show you the other one on our way out. Well, we're on our way out of here now, and I'm going to get to the other area, but I don't know how many of you understand how it worked back in the day when they were hunting for gold. You see this? That's quartz. So usually what they would do is they'd walk along and see if they can find exposed quartz on the top. And if they would find quartz laying on the ground or any type of vein, they would usually dig in under it, and that's how they would get the gold. I just figured I'd share that with you because it's a lot of pretty quartz out here. So they would usually walk on the ground and find stuff like this. All that is quartz. And that's the main reason why the shaft is down there. Because they were digging down and then they were going over this way. The only reason they didn't dig over right here, granite, a lot of it. But as you can see, it's spaced out in its shelf, so they didn't want to take the chance of hitting a granite boulder and then not being able to get through it. So I'm going to take a walk up here and just see what's up there. And if there's anything cool, I'll queue up. But if not, we're going to go to the next area where they had another dig. Well, I went up the hill a little bit and I figured I'd queue up. It looks like this is where they hit their main strike, and this is why they decided to dig down. Whole bunch of it. It goes all the way out. Look at that. Isn't that insane? They were digging and digging and digging and digging and digging. Looks like somebody else tried to come out here and find something too. That's a fairly new tarp. Looks like I got another hole right over here. Yeah. I don't think they found anything in that one. But that's pretty much it for this entire area. Other than the cabin I already showed you guys. And you can see how much they ripped up. I'm willing to bet they found some significant finds up here when they found this vein that was up here, when they ripped it apart and they decided to go ahead and dig down. We did find an old cigar box, and it still had the logo that was visible and legible on it. So we went ahead and checked it. It was from 1910 to 1950 is when that cigar box was made. So I'll show you that a little bit later when I get out of here. That way I don't have to dig it up out of my pocket. I hope you guys liked the video. I got one more stop. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, share this video with some friends, leave a like on it, and I'll see you at the next stop. So, I guess you found some good rocks, huh?
I found some wonderful rocks with a lot of really good color to them. Lots of different minerals in these rocks. But we're at another cool spot.
Oh. All right, well, oh. Yeah, well, in case you guys haven't guessed it, yeah, you don't get to see me. Don't worry, I didn't leave Henry behind. I wouldn't do that. He's worth too much. Anyway, as you can see, this is another one of the areas where they were doing a lot of work, and this is one of the other mines that they had right here. We'll go up and take a look at the debris field here for a second. They did use vehicles and stuff like that. As you can see, this is an old truck frame right here, and looks like they had the transmission. There's the bell housing, and then you see all the debris. They got a catwalk from the original A-frame. I'm actually standing on what's left of the shaft. I believe this might have been a shaft adit system. Here's some of the old water line right here. And then that bigger line right there is some of the old air hose. And then they lived literally right across from it. Now, they were coming up here mining for a whole bunch of stuff. There's all kinds of stuff in the hills around here because of Butte being right next door. They were doing copper, silver, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So as you can see, this is what's left of the old cabin that was here. This was literally a 1 or a 2-man cabin. And as you can see, they literally did all this with timber. This was all milled timber that the guys had milled themselves to build what's left of this cabin. So anyway, I figured I'd show you guys that just before we get out of here, because we're on our way down the trail right now. So honey, you want to remind them what they're supposed to do?
Yes, don't forget to watch the video, share it with a friend, like it if you enjoy what you see, hit that notification bell, and make sure you subscribe.
Yep, and I'm just going to let you guys know, if you guys want to see Henry in action, I need to hit 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time, and then I'll start using this guy. And just to let you know, in case you don't know what you're looking at, 300 grain, 325 grain, 405 grain, and 430 grain. These are the ones that most YouTubers cannot get, okay? So you guys take care. I'll see you next time. Well, I was just on my way out of here and I found one of the old rails. It looks like it was an adit, not a shaft. That is so cool. Too bad I couldn't take some of that home.